Mayor Lowry, Mr. Loden, thank you for those remarks. Nancy and I are humbled to be here with you today. And I see a lot of friends out there, and I especially thank the youth for being here today. I agree with Lee Greenwood, who wrote, "I'm proud to be an American where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died who gave that right to me." Lee came to Panama in the late 80s when things were tense leading up to Just Cause. And he ran PT, physical training, with my airborne battalion. After we got through, he got up on the PT stand and sang his new song, "God Bless the USA," as over 500 airborne soldiers stood holding hands, singing at the top of our lungs. It was so symbolic to stand in a nation or a country whose people were repressed and sing about freedom. I still get chills whenever I hear, "I'll gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, for there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA." Our founding fathers understood that freedom is worth fighting for. When the framers of the Constitution adjourned the convention and left the Pennsylvania State House on September 17, 1787, they had no assurance that their work would succeed. 81-year-old Benjamin Franklin said as much when a woman asked him what form of government had been devised. His reply was simple, yet profoundly challenging. "It is," he answered, "a republic if you can keep it." In other words, the framers had done their work. Now the real work was in the hands of the American people. So how have we kept that republic 226 years later? I think it's because of ordinary men and women, we the people, who work each and every day doing the harder right to keep the republic and to protect our freedom. That's what the men in the Twin Towers and women of the World Trade Center, at the Pentagon, on 4 routine airline flights, the police, firefighters, and EMTs were doing 12 years ago today. Little did they know that the cowardly actions of extremist Al-Qaeda terrorists would soon end their lives and threaten America's freedom in the most horrendous attack ever on American soil. On a clear sunny day, much like today, on September the 11th, 2001, these hate-filled terrorists hijacked American Flight 11 and United Airlines Flight 175 and flew them into the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center, and flew American Airlines Flight 77 into the western side of the Pentagon, killing all on board those flights and almost 3,000 innocent people on the ground. They also hijacked Airlines Flight 93, but the brave crew and passengers attempted to retake the plane as it crashed in a field in Pennsylvania, killing all 40 aboard before those terrorists could complete their suicide mission. The cowardly act of these terrorists were meant to bring America to its knees and end our republic. But they miscalculated the pride, unity, resilience, and will of the American people. What makes America the greatest nation in the world is the character of Americans, we the people, who fought back with tenacity when viciously and unexpectedly attacked by terrorists. These ordinary men and women performed acts of courage and heroism in the minutes and hours immediately following the cowardly attack on America. From the police, firefighters, and EMTs at the Twin Towers, who continuously disregarded their own safety by going into the stairwells to lead as many people as possible to safety, to our military, who helped those at the Pentagon, and then went on the highest level of alert, to even loyal citizens. Everyone did their part to set aside the anger and help our fellow Americans in our time of need. On 9/11, I was at work as a career advisor when a coworker asked me what we should do. I told her that we had to continue to do our jobs as best we could, because if we didn't, we've let the terrorists win. President George W. Bush was visiting an elementary school in Sarasota, Florida, when he was notified that a plane had crashed into the World Trade Center. The president returned to the White House after stops at military bases in Louisiana and Nebraska. That night, President Bush addressed the nation, calling the attacks evil, despicable acts of terror, and declaring that America, its friends and allies, would stand together to win the war against terrorism. On October 30th, 2001, President Bush threw out the first pitch at World Series Game 3 at Yankee Stadium to show the world that our way of life continued and we would not be intimidated. President Bush said he had chills up and down his spine because of the raw emotion of the American people as they stood chanting, USA, USA, and waving their American flags. We stood united. President Bush, 2 months after the attack, on Veterans Day, November the 11th, 2001, addressed the United Nations, and I quote, "Time is passing, yet for the United States of America, there will be no forgetting September the 11th. We will remember every rescuer who died in honor. We will remember every family that lives in grief. We will remember the fire and ash, the last phone calls, and the funerals of the children," end quote. The reason we still have our freedom today is because of the sacrifice of the military who continue to lay down their lives by fighting terrorism in foreign countries, and the first responders who put their lives in harm's way to enforce the laws of our land and protect we the people. Would all currently serving or past military and their families please stand? Or if you're already standing, raise your hand. I salute you. Thank you for your selfless service and dedication every day to ensure that we the people remain free. Now would all first responders and their families please stand or raise your hands. Thank you for putting our country before your own safety. Let us never forget 9/11 as we grieve for those who were needlessly killed and those who have given their lives or been maimed the last 12 years fighting terrorism. Their families continue to suffer unimaginable pain. Would any Gold Star family member please stand? Are there any Gold Star family members who have lost a loved one? There aren't any here today that I see. However, there are many, many out there who have lost a loved one. They deserve our utmost respect because their loved ones gave their life so we could have freedom and we could be here on a day like today and celebrate that we still have our freedom. Our lives have been changed in many ways, but we the people still have our republic and we still have our freedom. Our challenge as Americans is to reflect upon the values that have made America great and be willing to give our lives to ensure that our children and future generations remain free. We are the land of the free because of the brave. May God bless America. Thank you.